protect our sacred lands, our traditional territory, and we assert, because we know all of the stories from thousands and thousands of years ago. They're depicted on the pictograph, and we hold that very dearly to our hearts. So my hands are up to you, and to let you know that we really appreciate, the work that you're doing in accordance to our traditions. It's important to start off in a really good way, so that you know that you're welcome. We're really happy that you're able to do this work, and I'm really anxious to see the results. And this is a very, very genuine, it's a unique type of a village here, and we want to see more of what the actual evidence, which is supported by a lot of the stories that our elders have. So we really appreciate the work that you're doing, and I just want to, give you that official welcome on behalf of our community, and just emphasize how important it is to our people, to the Homoch of the people of this land, the Ste'elis. Thanking you very much.
Elements inside things like this. Kind of, yeah. Or like these maybe, because looking at the rest of the bedrock structures, it does.
The significance of the sacred site that the UBC school did their archaeological research on is very significant to the Ste'elis people. It deserves a traditional name. The name that will be put on it is Ste'elis Shwachwas Shwali. That's the Ste'elis, home of the Thunderbird. Thunderbird is the king of the eagles. This mountainside, this village is where a lot of our sacred regalia, our cultural heritage is. Deserves that name, Ste'elis Shwachwas Shwali.
Spent a lot of time clearing and uncovering the large terraformed surfaces around here to try to understand some of the patterning, to look at the way in which the rocks are arranged. The platforms are pulled out and made better for habitation. The site's, if anything, becoming more and more complex. We're realizing just how much we need to remove the vegetation to understand what the different surfaces are telling us.
Sister. He referred to Charles as the one of the brothers that had the power and the ability to transform people to stone. And as he walked through the land, he transformed people to stone because of something they were doing wrong. And if you go through Charles's journey, he started from the head of the lake, came down the Harrison River, went up the Fraser River, went down the Fraser River out to the southern tip of Vancouver Island, and then back. Throughout that area, you'll see the stone people.
As you can see, it takes most of the dirt out.
So for these darker things, there's kind of two general rock types that we think initially they could be composed of. One would be like volcanic rocks, so like things that erupt from lava onto the surface and cool relatively quickly.
And we're getting into some new terrain, seeing some interesting features, and we're going to stop digging here. In this corner, it looks like we might have some slate, some ground slate, and we're starting to see some charcoal in the black sediment here.
It shoots X-rays at an object.
So we started digging a shovel test, which turned out to be a hearth feature. And after discovering that, we decided to open up a trench along here to see what's...
This is Borden number DHRL 97. We also call it the water tower site. We're on the south side of the Harrison River right now, and this is the site that we've only become aware of in the last couple of years.
Where are we going with the gear?
But it also happens to be one of the largest sites around this area. So we just kind of walked past it, or boated past it for years, just because it's so different than all the other sites we have.
Etel squelwell, quels quetzlalo, hayatit tosqui, tlitquas te elis. My heart is filled with good feelings to see the group here, to do this very important work on our sacred lands, to do the formal research and to look for the evidence of what we know as Homoch people of this land, that we've been here for thousands of years, and to be able to to do the formal research and to provide that evidence is really, really important, to us as people of this land. It's a unique type of a village here, and we want to see more of what the actual evidence, which is supported by a lot of the stories that our elders have. But the thing that really keeps us grounded is this Kakatmuk, our sacred Mother Earth. It's our existence. And that's how we need to take care of it. It's like we are the land. We don't own the land. It's we are the land, and that's what we have to do, is to take care of it. To do the work that you're doing. Very, very important, like I said. And we really hope that you're able to carry on with a good mind, an open heart, open mind.
So that's going to be closer to sterile fill, sterile substrate. And this is potentially going to be built up and terraced.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So you could expect that might be the stratigraphy. It's a hypothesis. We talked about the different hypotheses for what if it's a natural terrace versus a built terrace.
I'm in favor of making it line up with what we think is the right angle of the house here.
Yeah. That makes sense.
There was a bit,
Rather
we,
than go with directional.
there was a bit of a natural instinct to make it north-south, but it was
Yeah, I think it's better to go with the feature rather than the
Good.
cardinal direction. I would.
yeah. Well, that's two of us, so I think that settles it.
As opposed to the entire pit being used.
So we've done more in those units over there, and now they're cleaning out these ones, just scraping away the dirt to uncover the rocks. And ultimately, we'll have a pretty good window into whether there's some patterning going on.
It's kind of like what we do.
That isn't the kind of rock you would find upslope, as opposed to this being an angular rock, likely bedrock. It could have easily come from upslope. So one of the things we're going to be doing is going to be
We're trying to pull some sort of
looking at the geology of both of these rocks, just to confirm that these rocks have been taken from different places and then brought here.
DVD for number 9. Once we get them analyzed, we can then date the position. It gives a date for where it came out of the stratigraphy and for any cultural material around it. And right now we're trying to date the pit feature in the wall, as we're suspecting the charcoal is associated with it.
Yeah, we found a couple flakes from projectile points. Down in the other excavation unit, we found a stone bead. So it's stuff that would be basically lost if we didn't do this.
Maybe
It went right up against the
I think
rock.
maybe it went right up against the rock because
Yeah.
we can find it there and we can find it there. Maybe people would like leveling out the surface a little bit.
Making a little pouch out of tin foil to collect some charcoal samples out of the wall for dating purposes. So we think there's some kind of a little pit feature here. And the charcoal's at the bottom of it. Very, very tiny amount. So we're just sort of over sampling just to be sure they have something. Getting the sample allows us to get a date for the feature or artifacts that it's associated with. Because you can't date the feature itself. You just date the sediments that are within it. And artifacts you often can't date either. You have to date charcoal that's associated with it. We'd like to get more than one to have multiple dates to see if they line up or if they're vastly different from one another. And it will also give us, if we get it from different levels going down, we can have looking at the occupation history of the area.
So yeah, when we're excavating an archaeological site like this and we find materials that are made into belongings or artifacts, we can search around on the landscape to see if the materials that they're composed of are available.
So if you look carefully, starting from, we're about in the middle of the site right now. If goes quite a ways up there, and we'll walk up there later on, and it goes right down to the river. It goes about 60 meters above the river. And we know that it's not natural because of these really flat areas here. And at every single break and slope, so at the top of the hill, they place these big rocks to help hold it steady. And at the bottom of and at the base of the platform, the top of the next hill, they place these big rocks again. So in that way, they could stop the hillside from sloping down because they would have had houses on these platforms here. Well, so far they're just in the ground. It's quite thin, but people had to break it, make it even thinner, and then they had to grind the edges.
And you put it, and then you dump it in the bucket.
That means that there was a little piece of yellow there.
Yeah, that one can go in.
Yep.
Try not to dig too deep. First, we want to make sure that everything is
All right, so who wants to go first?
All right, you guys
All
can
right,
work
so
with
what
Ari.
we'll do-
Throughout the territory, there's thousands of archaeological sites. Here we've selected one very significant site that we think is going to help us learn something about the Chehalis people's history and use of this land and the resources. And as we go in and excavate, the whole purpose is to replace what it is we excavate, replace the sediments that we're removing and analyzing with a really, really detailed paper record. So we'll create maps and graphs and all sorts of data sets and photos of artifacts and collections that we'll be able to use from this point on to understand how people use that particular place. So the knowledge is being taken out of the land and transferred into another form that we have more immediate access to.
We'll call this ancient village Ste'elis Shwachwas Shwali. It's the home of the Ste'elis Thunderbird. It's a very sacred site. The Shwachwas is the king of the eagles. It's a place where we put away all of our sacred regalia, our sacred cultural heritage items. It's a place where people feel safe. The village of Ste'elis Shwachwas Shwali. Very, very significant.
you.